Hello friends! Today we take a look at the garden at the end of June, about 5 weeks after it's been planted. Stay tuned! Alright friends, here we are on a windy evening for our garden update at the end of June. And I wanted to first off show you where my garden is in proximity to my house. So the house is here. This is the side that faces the west. And this is the balcony. Sometimes you'll see pictures of the garden shooting down like this. Our backyard is over here. We own a large side property. This is facing south. And then the garden is at the back of this. Once upon a time, I think 50 or 60 years ago, they used to have squash tournaments here. So it's appropriate that I've now planted squash in the garden. All right, let's get started. So as you'll notice from last time, a couple different improvements to the fences. There's mulch. Everything is green and huge. Let's dive right in. So jumping over, here's the salad greens section. Very nice, large, smooth kale, huge Swiss chard, and the lettuce. And it's just, oh, it's terrific. It's so moist, and it's prolific. I mean, I can just eat it, no problem. I only have one rabbit that's living in the garden. He's a baby bunny, and he's about 2 inches wide. Just big enough to fit through that. Otherwise, this keeps out all my pests. These are quite delicious. I'll leave this one for the rabbit to get. My peppers are doing the worst. They're the worst looking thing in my garden. And I think it's because I ended up planting them too close to this fence. They really needed a little bit more sun. The soil is as good as anything else. As you can see, they are flowering, so they're gonna start. And I don't know if it's just gonna be a late season for them or what. We're gonna find out. Whoa! Look at this. So the 3 eggplant plants are great. Look at those beautiful flowers. Yeah, and the zucchini. Of course, you only need one zucchini plant. This is kind of the back annex of my garden. Once upon a time, the water used to just flood down here, so I like to plant things that I know you can't kill. And zucchini is definitely one of them. Look at all the flowers that are down there. Isn't zucchini terrific? Just prolific. When we look back here, this is the pumpkins. So the pumpkins are going to come up in, let's say, end of September, October time. This one's nice and big. It's going to go pop, 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 climb up that old trellis. Over here, speaking of trellises, look familiar? So here are the tomatoes. They're doing great. I really love this sisal wire. It's got good tension. It's holding these up wonderfully. We had a real blustery storm the other night and it didn't do anything to them. And since I've trellised them, all the buds have come out. And we've gotten a couple little guys here. It's gonna be real nice. Hi there, do you like watching the garden grow? If so, head on over to my Patreon page. $1 a month is a great way of making sure this garden is bigger and better every year. Thanks. The pea and soybean section. It's interesting. So these are the soybeans. I've never grown them before. I thought they were going to be a vertical plant, and they may still be. So I left this area open. I'm not sure what kind of trellis I want for it. Back here, these are going to be the melons. These are the leaves for the melons, and with plenty of weeds in there. They'll grow right on up, and they're late season ones. So when the peas here die, I'll encourage them to grow over here. It'll fill up this whole area. The peas, since putting the trellises up, are very happy. All these nice flowers on them. Oh yeah, 'tis pea season upon us. Ta-da! Brussels sprouts and cauliflower. So when we look at some of the Brussels sprouts, a few died. Like that's dead. I could probably pull it out. But let's see. Take a look down there. Yeah, you know what's coming. And then the cauliflower here. Now I've never grown either of these before, so I don't know what to expect. But I'm thinking we've got what's going to be the beginning of a head of cauliflower down at the base of these. I'm not sure. We'll definitely know by the time of the next update. And then the beans. Well, we'll get to the beans in a second. Mostly look at this ground cherry, circle of ground cherries. I need to get to the right angle for you here. Hold on a second. We'll jump into the perennials. So look at this. Clearly this side is huge and this side is a little stinted. I have no idea why. Exact same seeds, exact same start time, plant time. I'm really not sure. Maybe it's a little bit of water drainage, giving them more moisture. I just don't know. But the ground cherries are doing real nicely. Let me get down here, move aside any of these leaves. You'll be able to see, there's one down there, there's one right there. Over here, pull them aside, you can see the same thing. They're everywhere. Got a couple months left for them. It's gonna be so exciting. And then this is Bean Alley. So I reseeded maybe 2 weeks ago because this whole area didn't come in, and my reseeding worked perfectly. So the ones here have about a 3-week advantage, and now they've climbed up since I put the trellis up. This is about 4 feet high. Same on the other side, doing real well. We've got green beans, wax beans, and purple beans, and then this big of stuff over here is going to be okra. That can grow up to 7 feet tall. Over here to the radishes, carrots, and beets. I will probably never plant them like this again. They are way too close to each other. The radishes are doing real well. Some of them are going to seed. I might let them go. I might not. We'll see. Beets are doing great right in the front. I was afraid I didn't have any, but lo and behold, I have more than enough. There are some carrots, as you can see. When I thin out the weeds, there's a few that will come through. I don't know if I'm going to do them in raised beds or containers next year or what, but the radishes are terrific. I'll probably pull them in 2 weeks and then reseed. Even though they're cold weather things, I'll get a second harvest, no problem. Perennial section. It's the never-ending story of raspberries. Holy cow. So this is about 12 feet long, and what was once 3 feet deep is now probably 4.5 feet deep. The trellis is at 4 feet, and I've got plenty of things that are crowning over that. And let's see, so we got some little raspberry-lets that are forming in there with a spider web right alongside. That's great. I should get a lot of raspberries. And then my 2 different kinds of rhubarb. I've had a few stalks off of it, but I'm not really harvesting since this is the first year. I'm just letting it do its thing, and then next year I'll harvest, even though this came from a very mature root ground. This old thing, we've, man, I have reseeded twice for my cucumbers. I had one hill do well, and it's starting to climb. So I planted some individual seeds at the same time when I reseeded the beans, and this is coming up, and then these are cucamelons. I haven't tried them before. I think they just don't want to do my climate. We'll see. So we'll have some early cucumbers, late cucumbers, and who knows if anything will work there. Blueberries are doing well. As you can see, I did not prune my buds in the first year. I'm just going to have some nice tasty little blueberries. Get that to focus. Yeah, that's delicious. I can't wait. It's gonna be so nice. And the gooseberries also looking good. There we go. No berries, but that's okay. The leaves are quite excellent. The strawberries are large and full, and the ants have eaten every single one of them, and I am perfectly fine with that this year. And then over here, I did a last-minute transplant. A friend of mine moved into a house and didn't want these Egyptian walking onions. I've never grown them before. They took the transplant just fine. They actually just look like this. Interesting perennial. They grow up, and then they sort of fall over, plant themselves, grow up, fall over, and that's the walking aspect of it. But instead of having a flower at the end, they have these little, tiny little onions. They're really good, so you can saute them. You can use this almost like a chive, especially when it's really young. And then in the fall, they've actually got a little purple onion on the bottom of them too, I read. So I'll probably harvest some of them next year, even though this will be in a different spot. So the poor thing will get another transplant. So I'll hop out of the garden now, give you one last look. Everything's doing real well. By the time we update in the middle of July, no doubt everything will be ridiculously tall. I already have to put more fencing on top of this stabilization beam on the trellis. Those will be completely full. I'll have harvested my radishes. I'll probably have had a harvest of raspberries. Who knows how the lettuce will be doing. The zucchini will be ridiculously large. Maybe my peppers will be over 2 or 3 feet if we're lucky. Should have some Brussels sprouts coming. It's just a wonderful thing. Isn't gardening relaxing? And there you have it. There's lots of green and growth in my garden. How's your garden going? Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. I'm the Midwest Man Mountain. Thank you for subscribing. And until next time, bye.